My name is Steve Adderholt. I'm the race director of Cocodona. Welcome to the first info session for the 2024 Cocodona series of races. I'll be dropping these info sessions about once a month until race week for Cocodona. So all of the latest up-to-date happenings for the races will be happening here in these info sessions. Okay, that said, let's jump right into it. We have launched a non-binary division for all Cocodona distance races. If you registered before July 24th, the gender division options were just male-female. So if you feel like you want to participate in the non-binary division and you were already registered before that July 24th date, shoot me an email and we'll get you into the division of your choice. My email is steve@aravaiparunning.com. So shoot me an email if that's of interest to you. Another question that we've been getting quite a bit recently are the Ultra sign-up add-ons that were available to you when you registered in the registration flow in Ultra sign-up. And those are those sort of things were like the merchandise options that were specific for every race distance, shuttle tickets, training run registration, scholarship pool donation, all of those sort of add-ons to your registration. If you want to go back and add one of those on after you've registered, you can do so. Just go to Ultra Sign Up, search for Cocodona, and there is a specific store section that you can click on and purchase any of those add-on items that you want to do after the fact. Okay, let's get into some course updates for 2024. I want to go through those with you on the actual course. For the most part, not much has changed from previous years on the Cocodona course. The first item that has changed is around mile 70, Camp Wamatochik. So over the past few years, we have been at two different aid stations for Cocodona at this aid station. For the past few years, it's been at Friendly Pines Camp. And this year we've changed back to Camp Wamatochik. So the route has changed a little bit coming into Wamatochik. We're coming off of the Groom Creek Trail here to go into Camp Wamatochik and then jumping right back onto the Groom Creek Trail after leaving the camp. In previous years, we've stayed on Groom Creek and then gone into Friendly Pines Camp. We obviously won't be going into Friendly Pines Camp this year. Going to talk a little bit about what that means for crew access and pacer access here in just a minute, but I'll continue with the course changes. The next change is in Cottonwood in the Verde Valley, where we cross the Verde River. Last year there was a fire in the Tuzagut Monument that locked us out of crossing the Verde River and going along the river trail in the Tuzagut National Monument. Last year we had to jump onto South Broadway, go into Cottonwood, and then cross a bridge to get to Dead Horse Ranch State Park. That trail is still closed for Tuzagut National Monument, the river trail there. We're hoping that by May that trail is back open. Officials have been telling us that it probably will be. So the course on the website in Caltopo shows the version that we would most like for the course to take, and that would be crossing the Verde River. It is usually about knee-deep and a really nice respite from the heat through the Verde Valley, and then a very beautiful run along the river and coming into Dead Horse Ranch State Park. So that's a change from last year. The next couple are very minor changes that you probably wouldn't even notice if I hadn't told you about it. The first is Munns Park. So after you leave the Munns Park aid station, we did have a section in the previous years where you cut across a meadow, and this was very confusing for runners at night after going through 200 miles of a race. So we were just going to keep you on a dirt roadway until we get back onto Forest Service Road 700. Very minor change, but definitely a change for the better. The next is coming into Kelly Canyon aid station at mile 203 for the Cocodona distance. It's just a very minor change. You probably wouldn't notice it, but it just matches now how our course markers will mark you coming into the Kelly Canyon aid station. And finally is coming down from Mount Eldon Lookout Road. The highest point on the course is the top of Mount Eldon, and then you run down the road, and then right at the base of the mountain there, you're jumping off of Mount Eldon Lookout Road. Last year there was a bunch of flooding that happened on the creek coming down off of Eldon, washed out a couple of sections of the trail through there. So we've just adjusted the location where we're going to jump onto Lower Oldham Trail. That coincides with what the trail actually looks like now. So like I said, no major changes to the course this year, just some cleanup that happens. There are always changes that happen last minute and in the months leading up to the race. Hopefully those will not be extensive, but those will be coming out and announced in future info sessions. So that's it for the course. There are some changes to the structure of the race, and a lot of those are reflected in the runner guide. I want to go through those now. The first, as I talked a little bit about earlier with the non-binary category, is the transgendered and non-binary policy that we have come out with. We're happy with the changes we've made. And with this policy, we're at Aravaipa, we're always wanting to be inclusive and fair to everyone who runs our races. And so this is one way that we think we are pushing the envelope on that. Big thanks goes to Lindsay Tucker for helping us out and giving us advice. And so wanted to definitely thank you, Lindsay. Next thing to talk about is required gear. Not really any changes necessarily to the gear that we require for all distance runners in Cocodona, but a difference in how we're enforcing that required gear. In the past, I've been pretty lenient about how we enforce the required gear for runners. We're all adults. I was under the opinion that everybody could, if they knew what they were going to be getting into, knew what the weather changes that they're going to be going through, they should, each runner should be able to make their own decision on how they want to carry that required gear, but that didn't seem to work. It just led to confusion for the runners and confusion for the aid station captains. So not being lenient this year, 2024, we're going to be strict on the checking and enforcement of the required gear along the course. That information is reflected in the runner guide in the gear requirements section, but basically for Cocodona, there is a gear check required at check-in, basically at the start line, and then 6 aid stations along the course. For Sedona Canyon's 125, it's 4 different aid stations along the course. And for the Eldon Crest 38-mile distance, there will be 1 aid station that will be checking for required gear. So check that out in the runner guide. Again, no actual gear changes, just the way we enforce it. Okay, we talked a little bit about that second crew access, or used to be second crew access aid station at Camp Wamatochik. That's mile 69.6. In the past, we have allowed crew to access that aid station, or the Friendly Pines aid station. It was just down the street. And also that was the first place that pacers could be picked up on the course, just because the small parking area up there at the north end of the Bradshaw Mountains at Camp Wamatochik, we just don't really have room for crews and pacers to access that location. So Camp Wamatochik is no longer a crew access location, and it is not the start of where you can pick up pacers. That will be at the Nooks location at Whiskey Row aid station at mile 78.7. So no crew access or pacer access at Camp Wamatochik. That's going to be shifted to Whiskey Row aid station. All right, cutoff times. We have added 3 cutoff times to the race. First is at the first aid station camp at Cottonwood Creek. That's mile 8.1. We think we're being pretty generous with a 4-hour and 50-minute cutoff at mile 8.1. But There's reasons for adding the cutoff there at that location. We think everybody should be able to make that 4-hour and 50-minute cutoff for the first 8 miles. But we're adding that cutoff. We're also adding a cutoff time at Arastra Creek, which is the next aid station after the first crew access aid station at Crown King. Arastra Creek is mile 53.1. The cutoff there is 25 and a half hours, which translates to Tuesday morning at 6:30 a.m. So everybody should be able to get through that location before the cutoff. But mainly just adding these cutoffs so that our sweep crews and volunteers can plan out and we can plan out logistics a little bit better at these locations. The next aid station, also Camp Kippa, we're adding a cutoff time, mile 62.9. Cutoff is 32 hours at that location, and that's Tuesday morning at 1 p.m. All three of those cutoff times are added in the runner guide, so check those out. Next thing I want to talk about is charity bibs. So we do still have some charity bibs left for certain race distances. The 250-mile distance charity bibs are sold out. We have 15 athletes participating in the charity bibs for the 250. Sedona Canyon's 125 and Eldon Crest 38-mile race distances both still have charity bibs available. The fundraising commitment for Sedona Canyon's 125 is $3,000. The charity bib commitment for Eldon Crest is $1,250. Your entry fee is waived with that fundraising commitment, and the funds go to a charity of your choosing. So feel free to jump in at a charity bib for both of those race distances. They are still available. Information on those can be found in the runner guide. Scholarship entries were announced, or the recipients were announced in October. We were able to award four full scholarships for the Cocodona 250. Aravaipa kicks in one of those entries, and then due to gracious donations from numerous individuals in the Cocodona community, we were able to increase that from 1 entry to 4 entries. So thank you, everybody who donated to the scholarship pool. You can donate, or anyone can donate to the scholarship pool by going to Ultra Sign Up, looking for Cocodona, and then going to the shop page. You can donate in increments of $25, and that'll help us in future years provide entries to Cocodona for people who are not able to afford an entry. So thanks for everybody who contributed. Speaking of doing good work, one of the official trail work days is coming up in a few months. March 30th, we're going to be doing a trail work day in Sedona in Oak Creek Canyon. It'll be a full day of trail work, followed by an evening camping if you so desire. We're going to camp out together and hang out in Sedona at a group campground, and then followed the next day, Sunday, March 31st, for a group run somewhere on the course. It's really weather dependent on which section we want to run, but that'll be somewhere on the Cocodona and Sedona Canyons course. We'll do a bit of 15 to 20 mile run on the course. So come out and join us for that trail work day on March 30th, followed by an evening of camping and hanging out, and a run the next day on Sunday. More info will be coming out on this trail work day, as well as a link to sign up in the coming weeks. Okay, training run. So for those of you who might have run Cocodona in the past, you know that first 37-mile stretch of the race is quite difficult, and we feel it's a really good idea for you to get out in advance of the race and train on that section to know what you are in for. So we're doing a training run on that section. It's the first 37 miles of the course from the start line to Crown King. That's going to be on April 6th. There is a fee to register for that training run. Every runner for the training run will receive a pair of Catula Gators. Thanks, Catula, for for providing each of the training run runners with those gaiters. And then we might have, still working on the specifics, but hopefully each training run runner will also receive a Satisfy Running gear kit. Like I said, still working on that one, but hopefully that will be provided to every training run runner. Info on that training run for April 6th and a link to sign up can be found in the training and coaching section of the runner guide. Again, I highly recommend that you get out on that first 37 miles of the course. It is arguably one of the hardest 50Ks in the United States, and it will be hot and rugged, and you will be glad that you got out and trained on that section before race day. We have 30 runners signed up currently, so 10 more spots. We capped that at 40 runners, and then we're going to go on to a wait list. We may be able to open up additional spots past that 40 runners, but we'll just kind of see how many people end up signing up for the wait list, and then potentially opening up to additional runners past that 40. So 10 spots available. Please go ahead and go sign up for that. Speaking of training, we have partnered with Sundog Running as the official training and coaching partner for the Cocodona races. Sundog is local to the area. They've run and trained on all of the trails of the course. They know this area really well and have coached multiple runners to finishes of all 3 race distances for Cocodona. They offer individualized training plans, close communication, and thorough race week planning, an even bigger benefit than just the coaching packages. And they have 3 different coaching levels ranging from a very hands-off, just a good training plan for whatever distance you're going to do, but otherwise hands-off, to personalized coaching that includes unlimited weekly communications, strength training, and all of the run training that you'll need to successfully navigate any of the race distances for Cocodona. If you're interested, visit Sundog Running to get started with your training and coaching. All right, that covers the updates for the course and the runner guide and changes to the race for this coming year. If you or someone you know might be interested in not running but helping us out at the race, we have a bunch of staff roles available. So if a bunch of hard work for a week to help put on this event and get runners to the finish line sounds appealing to you, send me an email. We have a bunch of different roles that you could help us out with, from course marking to aid station setup and teardown crews, shuttle drivers, and many, many more staff positions. If you're interested, shoot me an email at steve@aravaiparunning.com, and we'll get you the info on those staff roles. Volunteer sign-up will be happening soon for Cocodona, and that will be everything from course sweep roles to aid station captains, aid station volunteers, medical team helpers, live stream filmers, kind of any of the ways that you could help out as a volunteer. That sign-up will be coming out soon, and we'll make a post about that. That's all we have for you for this info session. Tune back with us in the next few weeks. We'll be coming out with more updates in the next info session. Thanks for tuning in. Be good, be kind, be safe.